Hello and welcome to AVNJ's Adventures 3. Today we're heading to a reservoir, which is a big body of water kept clean and crystal clear by the government because it's used as drinking water. There's lots of interesting fish in there, and I went to this reservoir a lot as a kid. There's just one thing about this reservoir that makes it a little bit difficult to access. It's on the other side of a mountain. So I grew up on one side of a mountain, and the reservoir is on the other side, surrounded almost completely by mountains, which means no matter how you want to access the reservoir, you usually have to hike over a mountain, which creates some really amazing views, but it's quite a trek. So this will definitely be the longest journey to payoff of these adventures that we probably have. I'm going to spend more traveling time than I will actually there, but hopefully we'll get to see some cool stuff, and I'm excited. And yes, I am walking on train tracks right now. It's the easiest way to access the trail that hikes me up the mountain to the reservoir. I'm pretty aware I'm not concerned about getting hit by a train, but if I do, you guys can make fun of me. Now this mountain has a lot of hiking trails that you can access from the front gate. But as a kid, I discovered a side trail that I found gets me to the top sooner and has more interesting stuff on it. So I actually crossed the train tracks, then across this field, and then I go up this electrical field and then enter a little entrance into the forest from the side. And that is the path that I've always taken, and so that is the path that I'm going to take today. Of course, because this is not a well-beaten trail, I have to walk through a lot of tall grass to get there, which means that I'm gonna have to do a pretty thorough tick check the moment I get out of this tall grass, because if there's anywhere on the mountain that I'm gonna get a tick on me, it's right here in this field. And with that, we are on to the hiking trail. All that's left is to climb this damn mountain and see some cool stuff along the way. Look at this fuzzy caterpillar. Not sure what he belongs to, but he's very beautiful. This forest that you climb through on the mountain is always filled with a ton of ferns. So I always say it reminds me of being in like a Jurassic Park movie. Because I feel like every Jurassic Park movie or every dinosaur movie or anything that ever depicts dinosaurs always has ferns everywhere. It just feels like I'm walking in that. This guy is a golden-backed snipe fly. I don't know why they have gold on their back, but I've been seeing these guys everywhere recently, so I'm thinking it's probably breeding season for them. Still on my way up the mountain, but I keep smelling skunk. And if there's one thing I don't want to run into, it's a skunk. I would honestly rather run into a bear. So I'm just gonna keep moving and hope that I don't run into that. Look at this harvestman. These are a type of spider. You can find them everywhere. Some people call them daddy longlegs. But daddy longlegs actually doesn't mean anything because there's multiple types of spiders, like cellar spiders, that have long legs but aren't the same. Harvestmen just have that little body. See how they don't have a clear separation between their head and their body like most spiders do? That's how you can tell it's a harvestman. I've reached the final stretch. Where the light peeking through up there is the top of the mountain. And I don't know if I've just gotten out of shape, but this mountain has kicked my ass. I've had to stop like 3 times. Whew, this is rough, but we're almost there. I did it. It doesn't look like it, but this is the top. Took me about 30 minutes of climbing. Pretty steep slopes, slippery, just a pain in the ass. And I am out of breath. I don't know if it's because I'm carrying a bag full of equipment or the fact that I just trudged through a stream for like 5 hours 2 days ago for the other AVNJ's adventures, but I am struggling. Well, that's okay, we're at the top. We only have to go down now. And then up again on the way back, but I'm not gonna concern myself with that for the moment because right over this crest, right down this path, about half a mile, is the reservoir that we came here today to see. Whew. Let's do it. I keep getting little flies, little gnats in my nose and eye and mouth. And so I've pondered the question, what is the nutritional value of a gnat? Because I've swallowed like 2 already. So say theoretically there's a cloud of gnats flying in front of me and I just go, hum, and just say I get like 50 of them. Would that be equivalent to like 1 chicken nugget maybe? You know, what's the nutritional value there? This is actually my favorite part of this hike. There's this sign that says drinking water and they keep it clean and updated. But let's go check out the drinking water down this path. Ah yes, free potable water. All you have to do is pump this hand pump from the 16th century for 10 full minutes. And if that's not enough, last time I was here at this little shack of water, there was a dead raccoon right there. This place is interesting. What do you think that blue peeking through the trees is? If you said it's the sky, oh boy, do I have a surprise for you. Because that, my friends, is a reservoir full of water. Just take a second to take in what we're working with here. It's just gorgeous. Can't wait to get in. Welcome to the reservoir. It's a bit wavy today, seems like because of the wind, but it's absolutely beautiful. It's crystal clear, I can easily see through it. And I'm excited to see what fish we can come across here. First things first, we gotta get dressed. If you're wondering what I brought in this backpack and why it was, you know, a somewhat difficult hike because I had all the equipment that I had. Of course, it's my waders. Not gonna explore a reservoir without a little foot protection to not get soaking wet. I do not want to hike back up that mountain soaking wet. That sounds unfun. So waders it is, let's get dressed. Hey, Zach from the future here. I just want to say that in the coming parts there's some audio that isn't the best because it was a very windy day at the reservoir and I didn't consider that. But in the future I'll be aware of that and hopefully try to keep windy audio to the minimum. I am equipped. Waders on, net in hand, let's get going. Already, right there, I see a bunch of fish just hanging out. So I think what I'm gonna do is go out into the water a little bit and then come at them from behind. That way they don't have the chance to escape away from me. See what we can do. And with a quick scoop, looks like I got 2 of them. I believe they're banded killifish. Let's get them in the specimen container and take a look. And they are indeed banded killifish. These guys love to hang out in these shallow, clear parts. I told you guys about that in the second AVNJ's Adventures at the Stream. So it's not surprising to see them here in this very calm, you know, clear spot at the edge of the water. Excited to see what else we come across.
Look at this snail and his method of travel. It's very interesting. He just stays still for a second while he's moving his head forward, and then he pulls himself forward. And he'll do that for a while, and that's why he moves so slow.
Look on the back of this rock. Pretty well camouflaged. I bet that is a striped fishing spider. That guy can actually catch and eat these little fish that are swimming around here. All I've been coming across are huge schools of banded killifish and fishing spiders everywhere. Like seriously, if you need to study fishing spiders, I have a perfect spot for you. They're on every rock. Yes. The seat. The seat of wonder, the seat of punishment. What knowledge can be gained by sitting in this mystical seat? Time to find out. I learned nothing by sitting in the seat, but some of you guys might be wondering why I use a net with no handle. So I just want to shout out Pusino, the floating net, because it is a wonderful net for all intents and purposes. The perfect mesh size, the perfect size of the net. The only problem is that the handle breaks at even the thought of doing any work. It's actually insane. I've broken 5 of these, but I can't find a better net, so I just keep having to buy new ones. This company has me fucking addicted to their floating net, and there's nothing I can do about it. So if you know of a better net that has like a really small minnow-sized mesh and won't break the moment it touches anything, please let me know. Out there in the reservoir, I see a huge line of birds. So I think it's time to get out our camera and see what we can do with this. All right, let's see what we can do. And if it looks like there's an old-timey film filter on the camera, that's because of the light reflecting off the water. Yes, it appears that those are Canadian goose. Isn't that absurd? With this camera, I am sitting on the shore. This is normal zoom, and I just zoomed all the way in on them to see those goddamn birds. This is why people supporting the Patreon is amazing, because I can get shit like this and do amazing things like this. It seems like I believe they're hawks. They don't look or fly like buzzards, flying around the area. I'm gonna see if I can get my camera out and get a good picture of these guys, since I'll be able to zoom in with it. Look at this. From all the way sitting on the beach. Well, I was, walking back, and stuck between two rocks, I found a dead yellow perch. How lucky am I? As you can see, in some places, it gets deep pretty quickly, but in some places, I've gone fairly far out. I'm probably like 15, 20 yards out, and I can still pretty comfortably stand in it. So there are definitely some sweet spots where I can go pretty far out, and if I find a good object the fish might hide under out here, because you can see the start of like a plant forest where a lot of fish would be hanging out, then I should be able to catch something good. You may notice a lot of times there's these trees and these tree trunks way out here in the water, and no, these weren't dumped here. That is because this reservoir was created artificially. It's a man-made reservoir, which means at one point this was just a normal valley not filled with water, and then they dammed it and flooded it to fill it with water so that they would have a stable supply of drinking water. So you can actually see evidence of these trees that were here prior to the reservoir being flooded. And even if you go diving at the deepest part in the middle of the reservoir, you can find old remains of houses that used to be there before they moved people out to flood this whole valley. And much like you can find in Missouri, like I talked about in the first AVNJ's adventures, there are big freshwater clams right here in New Jersey as well. It looks like someone went kayaking and left their paddle. Is this paddle worth anything? Should I take it? I don't even kayak. Why is my human monkey collector brain asking if I should kayak? What the fuck is that? Is that a camera? Oh, do you think this person's taking a time lapse? Is this a solar powered camera? Wait, no, that's not a camera, that's a light. A solar powered light on the... What is this supposed to... Oh! Okay. I'm piecing together a story. This is a detective mystery. Let me know if you guys agree with me. Someone went kayaking at night and they had to know how to get back to their thing. So they set this up so that they could get back to the spot and it would shine a light. But then they forgot their paddle. And then they left. That's the end of the story. It's not a very good story. I see lots of big guys swimming around. Oh, look at that. I'm not totally sure what that is. Let's get him in a specimen container and take a look. Now, I'm not 100% sure what this guy is. I'm thinking he's a young golden shiner. That's what would make the most sense for this reservoir. That's the kind of thing that would be stocked so that people could fish it. And he does have that black stripe and that gold top, which makes me think that's probably what he is. These guys have been swimming around in more the deeper parts. When I walk out a bit, I come across these guys a lot, as opposed to the banded killifish, which are all in the shallow parts. Well, I feel I've done my best adventuring here today. Come across most of the fish that I would be able to come across with just my hands and a hand net. Come across lots of cool bugs and other cool plants and just other cool stuff to show off this awesome spot that I came to a lot as a child and loved very much. So I'm gonna go ahead and head back over the mountain and go home.
Buy it, use it, break it, fix it, trash it, change it, melt, upgrade it, charge it, point it, zoom it, press it, snap it, work it, quick erase it, write it, cut it, paste it, save it, load it, check it, quick rewrite it, plug it, play it, burn it, rip it, drag it, drop it, zip and zip it, lock it, fill it, call it, find it, view it, code it, jump and lock it, surf it.
Well, that is AVNJ's Adventures 3 at the reservoir. It is ridiculously sunny and the sun keeps getting in my eyes, so I have to block it out with my hand. But I hope you guys enjoyed today. It was a bit different because it wasn't, a stream, and there wasn't a ton of different fish and involvement like that. But there's certainly a lot of cool wildlife, and it's just an awesome place. I highly recommend if you can find a reservoir near you. They tend to be clean. They tend to be very pretty because they're taken care of because it's drinking water. So yeah, if you guys are interested in supporting more videos like this, check out Patreon, top link in every description of my videos, and have a wonderful day.